Welcome to another rib-cracking episode of Fearless TV. This week we take on the controversial sport of speed sailing. There's more big-face bungee action coming your way, and just to settle the nerves, some serene alpine hang gliding. All this and possibly even more on Fearless TV. The so-called sport of bungee jumping has been around for many years now, but still rates a mention in the extreme sports scene because of a number of people unable or unwilling to put their lives on the end of a cord and test its safety. Among certain tribes of Papua New Guinea, the act of diving headfirst towards the earth from a tower attached by the ankles to special vines, which have some elasticity and enough strength to hold the jumper's weight, was a test of manhood. As the vines could not always be tested before the jumps, the results were far more random, but in most cases relatively safe, as the jumpers head towards an angled slope to lessen the impact if it should occur. These days, Western technology has developed far safer methods of achieving the same style of freefall, along with much safer connections to the body, most of which still attach at the ankles. But the initial rush of diving headfirst into thin air is both the biggest thrill and most frightening element of the sport. Various forms of the sport have been tried and tested, from double jumps to reverse bungee and even bungee running, which involves the use of a cord and the runners in harness attempting to see how far they can travel horizontally before momentum runs out and the elasticity of the cord takes over. Bridge and tower bungee remain the most popular forms of the sport because of their accessibility. While you ponder the next leap, here's some more eye-popping action to take in. Ice caving is such a specialised sport involving many extreme disciplines and such a high level of fitness that any minor miscalculations in this environment could be disastrous. Along with climbing frozen waterfalls, ice caving rates high in the danger stakes, simply because of the unpredictable and ever-changing nature of the terrain. The first obstacle to be overcome is the climb to reach these rarely seen spectacles of nature, a challenge in itself, which requires a considerable level of fitness and climbing ability. As in any high altitude climbing, all climbers are connected by safety ropes, with the lead climber securing the guide rope to available features. Should a mishap occur, the climber involved will only fall to below the previous safety fixture, if it holds. Often the difficulty lies in crossing large expanses of slow-moving ice covered by snow, as it is hard to gauge the stability of the underlying surface. Just as much as it creates hazards for climbers to face, this environment also creates some of the most spectacular formations encountered on the planet, and reaching the ever-changing mouth of the ice cave is one of those highlights. The next step on the journey involves venturing into a region that causes many deaths among climbers who have fallen into ice canyons. So every precaution must be taken to ensure safety remains paramount. Ice caving involves exploring areas that most alpine adventurers treat with the utmost respect, and due to the fluid nature of the conditions that created these formations, awareness must remain on nature's ability to change them just as quickly. Only when you have encountered a view like this personally can you determine whether the risk was worth the effort, remembering that you also need to conserve some energy for the way down. Back to the bungee action once again with similar panoramic views, but this time with the added fear factor of diving out of a helicopter. We're not sure that the 500 jumps per cable rule applies in these circumstances, but you'd want to be fairly certain of the pilot's ability and the maintenance record of the chopper. One of the advantages of heli bungee is the ability to change locations, as the launching platform, being the helicopter, is able to relocate over more spectacular scenery, although some rules as to the jumping area do apply. Heli bungee could be seen as the next logical step towards parachuting and serves as an ideal training platform for those concerned with exiting an aircraft at 10,000 feet, which is most of us. Check out some of this medium altitude action. Mountain biking high speed downhill is always a good way to get the adrenaline pumping and the recording happening as well. That's why this guy deserves our play of the day.
Forgot the reason why
Wakeboarding has become one of the extreme sport favourites for the new millennium, with riders constantly developing new tricks, many related to skateboarding and snowboarding. And as every new season passes in the mountains, more tricks begin to filter through into the water. Wakeboarding tow parks have also played a big part in the advancement of the sport, as having someone to drive the boat is now no longer a necessary factor in being able to get onto the water. Wakeboard parks allow ample time for the perfection of more difficult tricks, although some final adjustment has to be made to apply the same routine when being towed behind a boat. With tricks now involving many rotations on both the X and Y axis, and some parts of the tricks laid out, that is parallel to the horizon, positioning of the handle is crucial, as this serves as the drive point and centre of rotation. Moves such as the double S-bend and Mobius flip, along with the racquetball, are only a small glimpse of what is to come in the future. Man's need for speed has been well documented through the centuries and has driven the ambition to fulfill that need, not only in land, but in and on the water. Speed sailing is one area that has benefited from recent technological advancements, including lighter hull constructions and sail assemblies made from composite fibres, some directly derived from the aerospace industry. Much like Formula One motor racing, attention to detail in the structural components used in the assembly of each craft is crucial, as both weight reduction and increased strength are paramount to performance. The results of such a specialised endeavour can be seen in the design of the current world speed sailing record holder, a vessel that cannot be turned and can only sail in one direction. Catamarans were the first to gain a consistent foothold in the record books due to their ability to minimise contact with the water by using two slender hulls and massive rigs carrying giant sails. This approach led to hugely overpowered sailboats that tended to self-destruct under load as much as set records. The mid-90s saw the development of sailing hydrofoils, capable of speeds in excess of 50 knots in the French trench, and more recently an Australian-designed trifoil, using smaller skis rather than hydrofoils, has just managed to edge out the Californians. With constant innovation, who knows what the top speed on water may become.